giving an interview on TV.
Okay.
So Pujols and Yadier are sitting there throwing like balls of tape at him while he's giving his interview, right? Which is, I mean, I think it's awesome, right? Because I look back to my playing days, and I mean, all right, guys. Hey, welcome back again here. It's the Dom and Brian show, and we're just knocking them out right now.
You bet, man.
A lot of things going on, man, in the sports world.
Lots.
Especially in baseball. A lot of records being broken. A lot of it's just an awesome time to be a baseball
exciting.
fan.
Even if you're not a baseball man or woman, there's just so many exciting records that are being broken and tied.
Right.
And like, it's just, and not to mention we're heading into October, right?
Yeah. Here we go, baby.
Here we go with
Let's
all these
roll.
records being broken. These great legendary players that are like literally in their last year getting ready to walk out the door. And how memorable can it be to just go all the way through October and keep breaking these records?
Talk about going out with a bang, right?
Oh, man.
You know, two guys in particular here for myself anyway. I mean, you're from St. Louis as well. We got Albert Pujols, right? This man has been on fire. I mean, granted, he's only got 21 home runs for the season, right? But tonight, on September 30th, the man hits a 701 home run.
Not to mention he's, what, 42
years
years old? 42-year-old
man
still hitting,
Yeah.
I mean, 20 whatever plus home runs when you're 42.
Right.
It's pretty impressive.
Right. Been in the league, what, 21 years?
21 years.
I mean, it's incredible. And, you know, I can tell you just the buzz around town with Cardinal baseball right now it reminds me back in like the 06, 2011, like when we were in the World Series hunts, right?
Right.
Like this time right now, this is what it all reminds me of.
It's when it gets exciting.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where it just makes you feel a certain way. And even if you're not a baseball fan, it's just like,
I agree.
There's more people watching the games. There's more people going to the games now. Specifically, Pujols is back, right? He's back in St. Louis to end his career. It's done. It's over.
And to
with.
break the record. Well, and so you got Yadi and Pujols, two a legendary first baseman, a legendary catcher.
Right.
They're both going to be Hall of Famers.
Absolutely. How many Gold Gloves, right?
It's just so, and they're just great. They're great role models.
Absolutely.
Like, they're not stained by these scandals and whatever. Like, they're just two outstanding guys that have been playing ball for a really long time. They happen to be really great at it, and they're breaking records left and right. And I mean, who knows what the next 30 days are going to hold as we go through October, but what a way to end your career for these two outstanding guys if they can go all the way through October and bring a World Series home.
I mean, it would be incredible. It would be great for the town. I mean, just for those guys in particular. I mean, I've always been a Pujols fan, even when he left, went to Anaheim, and then he went to the Dodgers. But, like, having him back with, him and Yadier are best friends, right?
Yeah.
So on a side note, what I love about those two is they're complete, like, jokers, right? I mean,
I didn't know that.
Did you know that?
I
So
did
the
not
other
know
day
that.
at a game, so it was Pujols and Yachty. They were sitting in the dugout.
Okay.
And I want to say David Freese was given an interview on TV.
Okay.
So Pujols and Yachty are sitting there throwing like balls of tape at him while he's giving his interview, right? Which is, I mean, I think it's awesome, right? Because I look back to my playing days, and I mean, all we did was joke around and mess around and, made fun of everybody, that kind of thing. So it kind of is like they're humans. They're real people, right?
That's right.
And then I just saw something the other day. It was Yachty and Pujols. Obviously, they're teaming up on Wainwright, right? What do? They pour ice down this man's pants all the time, he said. All they was big kids, And
Big kids playing a kid's sport that they just happen to do well and get paid very well to do.
Right. And it's little things like that for me that make baseball so fun, right? Like, you have that downtime to be able to do those kind of things.
I agree.
And to show, these guys make millions of dollars a year. They're worth millions of dollars from playing all the years that they've played. And they're humans. They're real people. They're just like you and I, I'm sure they could sit down and have a conversation like this themselves.
Well, and not to mention, so obviously they're great athletes, right? Even in their later years in their career. But can you just imagine the experience and mentorship they provide to all these young Cardinal players, the young catchers, the young first basemen, Pujols for everyone that has to hit, 1 through 9.
Right.
Like just the knowledge that these two gentlemen can share is worth their paycheck probably alone.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's one thing like these younger players right now are realizing or have realized the entire season is that, Pujols is here. You have Wainwright. You have Yadi. 3 veteran guys
That have done so well at what they do.
Right. They've won what? 2 championships? 3?
Yeah, 3, I think.
3?
Three should be 3, yeah.
3 championships since, they've been in the organization. So they've been here, right?
Yep.
And, everybody's like, well, we got a young team, which I get we do.
Sure.
But we also have 3 veteran guys. So you don't think that these veteran guys are talking to those young players saying, hey, boys, this is how it is. Buckle up, Buttercup. We're going to make this happen.
And sharing their knowledge.
Yeah.
They're almost kind of like a player and a coach.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And if the Cardinals aren't using them as sort of a coaching mentorship, then shame on you because these gentlemen have so much knowledge, real lived experience in Major League Baseball to share with these young 22 to 26-year-old guys that boy, if I was a Cardinal right now, I'd be getting every chance I could to sit down and talk with Albert about my swing, how to make adjustments, because there is one of the all-time leaders of home runs and hits, and there's the guy to tell you how to swing the baseball bat.
Yeah, absolutely. Better learn from the best, right? Pujols breaking the record, right?
It's amazing, man.
Right?
Over 700.
That's crazy, right?
Over 700.
So what, he's more than Babe Ruth, right? Was that what it was?
So Babe Ruth is 714.
714.
So you got Babe Ruth at 714, Hank Aaron's around, I think around 750, and then you got Bonds at 762.
Asterisks.
Yeah. Big
Huge
asterisks, in my opinion, to each
Doesn't
their own,
count.
but So he's really, in my opinion, he's in a class of 3 other guys.
3 people.
Babe Ruth and Hank Aaron.
Yeah.
2 of the
crazy.
greatest.
Yeah. That's incredible. And then,
with no asterisks, by the way. Pujols
yeah.
is just a clean hitter.
He's
He's
a guy.
got a God-given ability, and I think we had talked about it off air, but if you do his at-bats, 1 out of every 14 or 15 at-bats, he hit a home run.
Yeah.
That's statistic over 21 years.
Right.
Every 15th at-bat was a home run.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I saw a meme the other day, too, that said that, with 700 home runs hit, his average time around the base pads was, I think it was 23 or 26 seconds. Okay? So that man has spent over 5 hours of his life running around the bases.
After home runs.
After home runs.
That's crazy.
That's awesome.
It's awesome.
I wish I had a stat about myself that was like that.
That's amazing.
And then, you have Yadi and Wainwright, right? The best battery in baseball, if I had to,
I
say
agree.
so myself.
They've been together for what? Over 16, 20 years-ish?
Yeah. So they've never left the Cardinals, right?
Yeah.
They've played their entire career here for the St. Louis Cardinals.
And Wainwright's over 40.
Yeah. And which is unheard of in baseball, right?
Unheard of.
How many times have all these guys gotten traded? Look at Pujols. He left 10 years, gone, right? Now he's back. Wainwright and Yadi been here their entire career. So these 2 guys broke a record for the battery, the most major league, or was it the major league record for the most times played together?
Played together, yeah.
The battery, right?
Yeah, right.
It was, 325.
It's amazing.
So Yadi has caught Wainwright in a start 325 times.
It's amazing.
In their career. That's nuts.
That's nuts.
What I would like to know is what's the win percentage?
And knowing those guys is probably pretty good.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Probably pretty good.
Absolutely.
Especially, for Wainwright to be, when you think about, I would assume some of the harder positions to keep your body in shape, a pitcher, to be 40 plus years old and still pitching in your prime against 25-year-old pitchers.
Sure.
Like, that's pretty amazing to me.
Yeah.
Because a pitcher, all baseball players throw, obviously, but a pitcher's throwing 70, 80, 90 pitches in a start.
Yeah.
And to be able to do that for that longevity
Well, yeah.
says, it's a testament to his training, his all
body,
those
his health. I mean, everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I can tell you right now. I mean, I pitched in college, and I didn't start playing baseball until I was in, I want to say it was like 6th or 7th grade.
Okay.
And I didn't start pitching myself until I was in high school.
Okay.
I went to college and played. I was a pitcher in college. But like even today at 35, my hips kill me. My arm's fine. I can still bring the heat if I had to.
Yeah, you can. I've caught a few of those.
But like my hips hurt so bad all the time. And I don't know how a guy that is in, Wainwright stature, 42 years old or in his 40s
can still do it.
I mean, it's just crazy to me.
It is crazy. It
know?
is crazy. I guess good trainers, good nutrition, good, access to the top-notch professional healthcare folks that can help you sort of stay where you need to be.
Right. Exactly, man. And it's just crazy. Like with baseball, I mean, there's all these records being broke, right?
So many records.
You got what is it? Shohei Ohtani? Is that how you say his name?
I think so. One of the Angels star pitchers.
I probably just butchered the heck out of it. Sorry, buddy. But
good thing we're not in California,
right? I mean, he's a pitcher, right? This guy has hit 30 home runs as a pitcher.
It's amazing.
And has over 10 wins, on the mound. That is unheard of.
Which I think he won the MVP last year, if I'm not mistaken, because I think he had similar stats. He was like 35 plus home runs.
Right.
And he's a phenomenal pitcher too. And you're right. You just don't.
You don't have that.
Pitchers are either have a DH or they strike out or they just don't hit home runs.
No, absolutely not.
And I would say his records of hitting 30, 35 home runs is more than probably the entire pitching staff of the Angels have probably not combined hit 10 home runs.
I can guarantee you they haven't.
Yeah, and this guy's hit, I mean, he's just a freak of nature. You just don't hear that in baseball.
No, because he tied Babe Ruth's record, right?
Which will probably never be broken.
No, I mean, especially nowadays because they've implemented in both leagues, the DH.
The DH.
Right?
And the pitcher who gets the DH most likely.
Absolutely. I mean, are you going to DH the second baseman?
Sure. And I get it. Pitchers aren't paid to hit home runs.
They're not.
They're paid to throw strikes.
Yeah.
Get people out. But yeah, he's another one of those guys, and I think he's young too. I want to say he's like mid to late 20s.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I understand why he's the MVP. He's put in a class now with, I think if anyone can say you're put in a class with the Babe Ruths, the Mickey Mantles, the Roger Marises, like you're not just an ordinary baseball player. It's hard enough to make it to, and you would know this playing college baseball. It's hard enough to probably just make it through the minor leagues and into Major League Baseball.
Right.
But to then be put into categories with Babe Ruth.
Right.
That's a 1 in a trillion. I don't know what that number is, but that's not an average thing.
No, I mean, because you think about baseball back in the day when Babe Ruth was playing, Roger Maris, those types of guys. I mean, it's a totally different game now, right?
It is.
I mean, Babe Ruth was the guy that was sitting in the dugout,
smoking a cigar,
smoking heaters, drinking beers, having hot
probably
dogs.
hungover from the night before.
Yeah, several stories of that. As we're now, these players take it really serious, and their bodies are in tip-top shape and have the best trainers in the world and best nutrition plans and things like that. Where back in the day, I mean, think about if Babe Ruth was here today playing baseball. What would his numbers look like today?
Yeah. Versus when he played. 1919, 1918 to 1918, the late 30s, I think. It'd be totally different. But just to be put into that, I think every kid, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a Major League Baseball player.
Every kid.
But it was never to be like, I'm also going to break Babe Ruth's record of calling my shot or this or that.
This guy.
But I'll tell you, like a pinnacle of your career in baseball would have to be like, yep, I'm in the same group as Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
Sort of the mythical whether or not you like the Yankees or not, he's the mythical pinnacle, like #1 baseball player.
Right.
It's Babe Ruth.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of the Yankees, you have Aaron Judge, right? Aaron Judge.
61 home runs, tied with Roger Maris.
Unbelievable, right?
Yeah,
we haven't seen a home run race like that, since Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa.
Yeah, and he's got. So I know the Yankees lost tonight, and he was homerless. So he's got 6 more games to try to break Roger Maris.
Yeah,
I know. I saw an interview the other day when he hit 61. Roger Maris Jr. was there at Yankee Stadium to greet him and say, congratulations, you tied my dad.
Yeah.
And I thought it was pretty special. Judge gave the ball to his mom.
Uh-huh.
And he sort of paid homage, and you could probably attest to this too, just the same as I can in the sense of like youth sports and what we do for our kids, right? Regardless of hockey or baseball or basketball. He gave it to his mom, and he, in this interview, he basically said like, this is for you because you gave up so much for me to be standing here today.
Yeah.
So this is for you, Mom. Like you gave up money, you gave up vacations, you gave up your evenings, you gave up to ensure that I can stand here now as a 26-year-old man. So I thought that was pretty special that he kind of recognized the sacrifice that his parents did for him to put him on this national stage.
And you know what? Like for me, for Aaron Judge, I mean, it couldn't happen to a better guy. Like
he seems like he's outstanding.
He seems like he's a down to earth, like, he's just a good dude. It seems like, and you got some of these guys like Mark McGwire. Whenever he got, I think it was his 61st or his 7th. I can't remember which home run it was, but the guy that caught the ball was like, "Hey, I want to give this ball back to you. This is what I want, but I also want to meet you." And Mark McGwire was like, "Okay, I'll do everything, but I'm not going to meet you." To me, that's just garbage, right?
Yeah.
Like, even being a Cardinals fan, whatever. But like, I don't know. That's just not my style, right?
Well, and I tell you, I think these guys have to understand that, like Judge, he's getting paid this year like $22 million or something. But you're more than just a baseball player in a Yankees uniform earning your paycheck.
Right.
And I use my son as an example. Like Aaron Judge is my son's hero.
Yeah.
And so when we're playing baseball in our backyard, my son will look at me and go like, "I'm Judge, Dad. Throw me the ball. I'm going to hit a homer." Like my son idolizes this guy. And so these guys have to know that like they're like heroes.
Yeah.
They're heroes to tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of kids that want to be just like them. And so they've got to go like above and beyond to set a good example of like, I can hit home runs. I can throw the ball from right field to home, but I got to be a good person too, because kids are looking up to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what makes it so special. Like, I mean, for me, this could not happen to a better guy right now.
Yeah.
Just because of his whole demeanor about everything, right?
And he's one of those guys, like when you think of the 700 club, right?
Right.
So now there's 4 guys. There's Pujols, Ruth, Aaron, and Barry Bonds.
Right.
This is a guy that, God forbid, knock on wood, he doesn't get hurt in the next 15 years. Like this is probably another. He's gonna be up there with Pujols.
Yeah. I mean, so Aaron Judge, he's 30 years old. So I mean, realistically, if he can stick it out to what, I was 42.
Yeah.
Right?
There's a chance if he's doing these 50, 60 home run a year.
And I'll be real honest with you guys. I don't really follow the Yankees or Judge until this year.
Sure.
So I don't really know where he's at, like in all-time home runs since he's been in the league, which would be a good number to probably try to find out.
Yeah.
Just to kind of see what the pace is, right?
Sure.
Is he going to beat Pujols? Is he going to beat, whoever else is in front of him?
I'll tell you. So when the Yankees came to play the Cardinals the 1st of August, that was part of my son's birthday gift. So we were there. We were at the Cardinal Stadium 3 hours before so we could get some signatures.
Sure.
And the kid was lucky enough. He was like front and row center. Here we are, Busch Stadium, decked out in Yankees apparel, sacrilegious in St. Louis.
Yeah, absolutely.
But here he's got his little Bic pen, and he's got his baseball, and he got, 3 or 4 Yankee signatures. But you don't realize how big Aaron Judge is until you see him in person. He's huge.
Yep.
And I think they said that he could have played basketball or football. I mean, he's like 6'7", 6'8".
Yeah.
So you see him with all of his other teammates, and he's just a giant.
Yeah.
He's just a huge guy.
Yeah. Big dude, man.
Yeah. So I wish him the best. I hope he can break Roger Maris's record this year. If anything, for my son.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
man.
go Aaron Judge.
Absolutely. Hey, I support it, right? I mean, he's a good guy.
He's a good guy.
You know, I think he's good for baseball, and I think a lot of other baseball guys should probably take a look at him and try to model what he's doing, you know, for the community and for his fans.
It definitely, you know, with Pujols and Judge and all these guys, like it just brings probably non-baseball people to the TV where they're like, whoa, like this guy hit 700. This guy's going to break some record from 1965. Like, wow, baseball. Maybe we should turn on October baseball.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, ratings should be out of the roof, right?
They should be good for Major League Baseball.
Absolutely. Then you have, you know, we're talking about the hits, right? The hits of this year. You got Miguel Cabrera with the Tigers.
More records.
Right? More records. He's the third player to hit 300 or 3,000 hits in the 21st century.
That's amazing.
That's crazy. 3,000 hits.
3,000 hits.
So he's with Pujols and Ichiro Suzuki.
Which he played for the Mariners, right?
I believe so.
I think he was a Mariners, yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow, only 3 guys in the 21st century. It's amazing.
That's nuts, man.
It's a year of records, man. It's a year of records.
And, you know, I don't really know a whole lot about, you know, Miguel, but it's cool to see. I mean,
it's cool to see. I agree.
Everybody is sitting here, you know, breaking records, doing good things for the game. I don't really know what kind of human he is, like Judge, but
yeah,
it's just cool to see. I mean, the stuff that's going on in baseball, and I don't think a lot of people realize is what you're witnessing right now is probably
once in a lifetime
experience.
I totally agree.
And baseball fan or not, I mean, start paying attention because there's some exciting things that are going to happen.
I mean, like home runs, you got to think the Ruth era, the Aaron era. Bonds probably broke that, in early 2000s maybe when he broke it.
Yeah.
So that's been 20 years since someone's done it.
Yeah.
So you got to think you'd have to look at the home run listing now, but there's probably no one in the next 10 years that's going to get over 700.
No.
So it's like you're truly watching history, you
Absolutely,
know.
yeah.
When Judge hit that 61st home run, you're watching history. No one's done that in the last 50 or 60 years.
Right.
So older than me, before I was born, that record was set, and probably after me is when it's going to get set again. Yeah, you're totally right.
I mean, and that's what makes it so exciting for me, right? Like, you see these guys. You have Yadier, Wainwright, Pujols, Ohtani, Aaron Judge, Cabrera.
Yeah.
I mean, this kind of thing just doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen.
You know, hopefully our beloved Cardinals pull off
I hope they
a
do.
win, you know, and, you know, go to the World Series because that's always a good time.
I'll tell you. Well, you know, so I'm going to switch gears here on you. Still staying with professional athletes, but when you talk about older guys that are still doing it, like you look in football, Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I think, what's he, 42, 43, quarterback, taking nasty hits. In fact, I heard with the whole, I don't know if you followed this or not, Dom, but the Miami Dolphins quarterback, right? He had a concussion last week. Last night on Thursday Night Football, he got hit again. I think he's got a lot of neurological issues going on.
Well, then he's like hands all seized up and everything.
Yeah,
like,
because
bad.
of the neurological things, because they're thinking maybe he didn't
not have
pass
played.
the concussion protocol last week. But so when I'm coming home from work today, they're talking about obviously Tua and the Dolphins, and they were talking about like the impact of football. And they said that when the offensive line and defensive line collide every time, so about 75 to 80 plays per game,
Right.
it's the equivalent of a minor car crash. So for you and I, when we get into a fender bender at 25 miles an hour and like our body does that jerk, like that's what those 300-pound, 6'7" guys, every time they collide, they say that's the equivalent of you and I being like in a minor car accident.
Right.
So when you think of these like Tom Brady's, they're 42, you know, he's got 7 Super Bowls. He's clearly great. You know, hate him or love him, whatever.
Sure, yeah.
He's my age. He's in better shape. He's an NFL quarterback breaking records of, you know, I think
supermodel wife. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I think the next closest guy is Jordan with 6 championships. So you're in this class of Jordan, but you've got more. again, I just, it's a testament to like how those guys eat and their nutrition and their exercise and how they can keep their bodies going.
Yeah.
That lets them compete with 22-year-old guys.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's crazy.
That's nuts. You know, and you look at like hockey players, you know, I mean, it's the same kind of deal. I mean, they're not playing once a week. They're playing,
because how many,
3-4 nights a week?
Yeah.
Probably?
So in NHL, how many games do they play in a season?
Man, I'm still new to the whole hockey.
Because baseball's about what, 165,
it's
160?
about 165 games, something like that.
But obviously, baseball's low impact,
Right.
minus a catcher and a pitcher where you're using more of your body.
Right.
But yeah, I want to say hockey's got to be over 100. I would assume. But that's probably another one. I'm sure a hockey impact is the same as like an offensive defensive line. Yeah, it's got to be different. But that's what's kind of exciting too, right? So we're going into October baseball. We got football finally kind of getting in. It feels like football weather.
Yeah.
I love watching football, but I hate watching football in August when it's
Right,
100
when it's
degrees outside and I should be at the pool. And it just
Right.
like football for me is like a 60-degree. You're eating a cup of chili on a
Well,
Sunday.
Yeah, you gotta be
like,
outside with a bonfire. Right?
yeah, like it's just, so I kind of feel like I'm just now getting into like football weather.
Right.
And even though my team's blowing it right now, but 82 games.
82 games.
82 games.
So yeah, let us know what you guys think. I mean, could it be a magical year for baseball? I don't know.
I hope it is. I
would say it is a magical year.
I would agree.
And in Jace's standpoint, maybe the Yankees win. If it's got to be one team, it's either going to be the Yankees or the Cardinals. Okay.
I tell you, it could be.
Yeah.
It could be.
Let us know what you guys think, and thanks for watching. And we'll be back to you guys here later. Thank you. Have a good day.